Not quite. Not quite on my computer yet.
Well, at least you don't have to wear these at the end.
Yep.
Now when I'm waiting for
Yep.
my
9 o'clock.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, David J., and good to have you here. Couple of housekeeping chores. If you have a cell phone, which I imagine you do, please silence it or turn it off. And if you do get a call that you absolutely have to take, please step out into the rotunda area and take the call so you don't disrupt the meeting. Appreciate that. This meeting is being streamed live, so if you wish to address the board, just a heads up, you will be on the live stream. At this time, is there anyone in the audience that would like to bring something to the board that is not on the agenda? We would not be able to act on it since it's not on the agenda, but we certainly want to hear your concerns or issues or whatever you had, and I want to make certain I give you time during the open part of this meeting to be able to do that. It probably, we'll limit it to 2 or 3 minutes or whatever it is, but we certainly want to hear your concerns if you have any. I don't see any, so that being said, is there anyone of the commissioners that have a conflict of interest with any of the items on the agenda?
No.
Seeing none, then I would
I'll make
approve
a motion
ask for an approval of
to
the
approve the agenda.
minutes of the September.
Oh, I
Second.
approve the agenda.
I
We're on the
approve the
agenda.
agenda, I'm sorry, approve the agenda. A motion by Hatton, second by Van Duzen. Any corrections, additions, any comments? Anything from anyone? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Number 5, action to approve
Move
the
to
minutes
approve
of
as
the
emailed.
September 3rd. All right, motion by Hatton, second by Waterman. Any discussion? Any discussion on the minutes from the last week's meeting? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. All right, let's jump right into number 6 then. And this is a public hearing on the development of the Cudahy County 5-year county highway and bridge improvement plan. And the way I would like to do this morning is have Rick come up and kind of introduce this to the people that are here with us today and to us. And then after Rick finishes, then we'll open it up for public comment. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning.
Morning, Rick.
And your green button is on, so you're good.
This is the 5-year plan for our bridges. We've got some that are needing replaced. And I don't know if you guys have the list or not, but
Doesn't look like we have the list
Oh,
in
okay.
our packet here, Rick.
if I'd have known that, I'd have made you a copy, but
I think you shared that with us earlier, though.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
There-
we do have a project status list. Yeah, we do, there is.
Is that in the packet, Cindy?
Yeah, it is in. is this
Yeah,
in?
there's
Yeah, that's
the
it.
needs.
Yep, we have that. It's in, it should be in there, I'm sorry. 5-year program project listing, it's towards the back. Maybe I did not give that to you.
No, I
we
don't have it,
that.
no.
Okay, project needs list. I'm sorry, I thought I had given you the whole packet.
Go ahead, Rick.
That's all right.
Well, there's 5 right off the top. There's 2 up on County Road 11. There's 1 on County Road 14, which is 14th Avenue, 14B, which is 14th Avenue just north of our shop. That's one that's got a higher priority because there's a lot of traffic on that. There's one on County Road 75 that the deck needs to be replaced. And there's other bridge improvements that we can do, but those are the main ones right now that, with our bridge inspections and the way things are with the bridge improvement plan, the big program, It all takes time to qualify, because they're still good enough. There's no load limits or anything on them, but they should be start looking at to be replaced, so.
That one north of the shop, is that the one on 14th?
Yes,
Okay, it's the one over the river.
yes. And that's a major,
Yeah.
because we only have so many through town and we use it daily, so.
And that's the one just on the bottom of the hill there on
Yep.
14th, okay.
Yep.
Rick, with all the city building going on up there, and the city on both sides now, how long is that gonna be before that road might possibly be turned over to the city?
Good question.
I don't think they want it.
Well, I know they don't want it, but
Yeah.
realistically, it's all it's all in the city there, isn't it? Except on the north side of the road?
Yes and no,
Or
there's.
part of it?
Part of it, because when you get down to the bridge or from there, there's not many houses or anything. It's all pasture ground or swampland, especially like
When
on
it
the
goes
south
east,
side.
when it's east, the city has it on both sides of the street.
Yep.
That new development is in the city, correct? But that house right there, just to the west of the bridge, on the both the north and south side, I believe, are county properties.
Yeah.
Right, Shauna?
Yeah,
So-
because partway up the hill is where the county and the city property meet.
I mean, the bridge is in good shape yet, and it takes a long time for them to hand over a street to one
Yeah.
entity or the other, and that's why I asked.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I'm going to talk to the city with, about when we get to that point of replacing the bridge, so.
So Rick, were these additions to what we previously had on the plan, or did some of those other ones get bumped off now, or where are we at with
The
some
one
of
on
those?
14th Avenue got moved up.
Okay,
That's one that has more of a higher priority because there's more traffic on that. The rest of them are still on there, like the one
in Sheridan?
in Sheridan.
Okay.
It's still on the list, but it's 500 cars compared to 5 cars a day, It's
Prioritizing.
right, yep. So it's still on the list. It never got taken off, so.
Right, it's just,
On County Road 11, and you told me this before, where are the two that are located on that? It's
One is about 2.25 miles south of the county line, and the other one is about 6 miles south of the county line,
Okay.
coming from the north. So,
Yep.
so even with the traffic load, you don't take into account the deterioration in the, of the bridge?
that plays into it too, but,
Right.
we all have to prioritize, because it's 3 miles to get on the other side. And how many people use that, compared to I'm just using 14th Avenue. And then there's another one down the road on County Road 13 that leads north, so.
Rick, do these bridges, do they qualify for the BIG or bridge improvement grants that are out there?
Not necessarily, because they're not low enough on the rating. And part of it plays into the wheel tax. The county doesn't have the max for the wheel tax either, so that cuts us a little deep right off the get-go, so we'll have to spend more money out of the county's
We got
pockets.
a couple of farmers sitting out here in the audience, and we should probably instigate the wheel tax again, and get the maximum out of the wheel tax. I'm just trying to see what their reaction is out there. They're kind of frowning at me,
I'll
so.
duck.
Pretty stoic.
There's a way, though, that you can implement it on, is it one wheel that you can put there's something,
That I'm not exactly sure on how that all,
I gotta look into that, but it wouldn't be on all wheels that you could, I'll dig into that again.
okay.
Anyway,
If we had the maximum wheel tax, we would move up on
Yes.
that,
Yes, that makes a difference.
The state
Yep.
requires proof of local effort
Yep.
for funding before we get grants,
Yeah.
definitely.
because it's a point system, and
Yep.
so
Yes.
everything that you have in place that they require, then you receive points for that.
So it's like a matching grant? I mean, is there a matching grant that's available for
I
these
don't
types
know
of
if it-
projects, or
I'm sure.
Well, it's
80/20 or
yeah.
something
Yeah,
like
it's
that? Split?
So-
Yeah.
Okay.
And it depends on, sometimes if you do the preliminary work, they take that into account, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get reimbursed for that
So
preliminary
it's
work.
kind of
that you
in
do.
kind. Okay.
But the good part of it is with the current wheel tax that we do have, we do qualify.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, there's a lot of counties out there that don't have a wheel tax, and they're scratching to try to get one so that they can get qualified to even get some of that money.
Yep, and like the money we received earlier this spring, our bridges are probably in a little better shape than some other counties,
Yeah.
so they got more money, where we did not get quite as much money as what some other counties have, but they have more bridges, and it makes it a lot tougher, so,
Yeah, it's very competitive.
yeah.
Okay,
So now, you would ask for comments from the public. Because
yeah,
this is a
yeah.
public hearing.
Are you done? Are you done, Rick?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so now at this time, I would open it up to the public. Does anyone in the audience, or is there anyone that has contacted us by mail or
No.
by some correspondence? Is there anyone in the audience that would have any questions for us or for Rick? Because we got Rick here. Now's the time to ask him. Anybody? Anyone?
Or comments?
I have the plan at the office, so if anybody wants to stop and look at it, they can gladly stop in and I'll show them it, so.
Okay, is there any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? I'll ask one more time. Is there any comments or questions from the audience? Seeing none, then I'll close the public hearing. All right?
I do have one question, Mr.
Too
Chairman.
late.
Too late?
No,
I'll go see Rick after the meeting.
no, go ahead.
How
All right.
long is it from a period of time when you start to an actual completion of a bridge? What are we
It all
talking about?
varies.
How many years?
It all varies. The one bridge, like up on County Road 4, that's due to be replaced, that started about 10 years ago. So it all varies. There's many different factors in all of it, so.
So what you're saying is County Road 14, the bridge there, could be in a 10-mile-an-hour zone by the time, with weight restrictions by the time it gets approved.
You know, if it got reduced down in weight, that would be a huge impact on the city and the county.
So then that goes, I have to ask the question, is what is the factor that takes so long to get a bridge built? I know it's funding, I know it's maybe government red tape, et cetera, but physically building the bridge, I don't know, I've never built a bridge. I assume it takes a while to do that. The one on Highway 212, they've been working on that a long time. There's a lot more that goes into it than what normal people see, but 10 years? What's the holdup? What's the problem?
There's just a little bit of everything.
He's
Red
talking
tape.
about
Like-
10 years before maybe the project would be approved, that we'd get funding, not literally that it's going to take him 10 years.
Okay, I was, it's like,
there's,
is that like really slow
Yeah.
drying cement, or what's the problem? I mean,
Question.
It's called,
think
I'm
Charlie-
sorry about that.
I think they call it red tape.
Yeah.
red tape. Okay,
all
we'll go
red
back to my
tape.
red tape
Yeah.
comment.
Thank you.
I might suggest
Engineering.
Do you
No,
mind
I
reading?
get that.
maybe the bridges that are on the improvement grant, just for, just reading the ones that we have on our 5-year plan, just for the public's
Okay.
information, since,
All right, the first one is on County Road 11. It's 2.25 miles south of the county line. The next one is 6 miles south of the county line on County Road 11. And then the one on 7-5, which is east of town, with the deck that needs to be replaced. The one on 177th that's in Sheridan Township, that there is currently a load limit on that one. And then the one on 14th Avenue. So those are the top 5 in
in the plan.
Project.
Okay.
so,
And they never will all come to fruition at the same time.
no.
I mean, it's going to be, if we get one this year, we'd be lucky. That's probably
Yeah.
the way you got to look at it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good questions, people. Anything else? All right, Rick, thank you. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Rick, for your work
Thanks,
on
Rick.
that. Appreciate it.
All right, let's go on to item number 7. That's another public hearing. in reference to the 2020 provisional budget. And at this time, then I'll open that up to the public. Does anybody have any questions or comments or thoughts in reference to the 2020 provisional budget? And the budget was printed in the Watertown Public Opinion and the South Shore Gazette. Is that
Legal
what it is?
newspapers, correct.
And the two papers, and there are, is it online?
Yes.
And so everybody, it's out there for the public to review and to look at. Does anybody have any thoughts, any questions, or any comments on the budget? Anyone have any questions on the budget? The 2020 budget. 2020, sounds kind of strange, but here we are already, the 2020 budget. One last call. Is there anyone out here that has any questions or comments on the 2020 budget? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing on the 2020 provisional budget. All right, let's go on then to number 8, which is monthly reports, and we're going to start right out with the Director of Equalization, Shauna. Good morning, Shauna.
Mr. Chair, may I add on on the provisional budget, we will be adopting that on September 24th. That would be the last public hearing. So if there are any changes or additions or whatever, it needs to be done that day before we adopt.
Good morning. As I said before, Shauna, go ahead.
Sean, can you move that mic a little closer to you? There you go.
Is that better?
Or lean forward.
Okay. We are currently the appraiser's still working out in the field. They have approximately about a month left out in the field, gathering all their data, and then we will start working on actually getting the values and stuff on the cards. We have started taking flooded farmland applications and buffer strip applications. Those are all open. The flooded farmland needs to be filed in our office prior to November 1st, but the buffer strips need to be filed in our office prior to October 15th, on or before. There are PSAs going out in the paper to remind owners of those deadlines, and hopefully we'll start getting them through the office.
And the
Good.
thing is, with the flooded farmland, it needs to be flooded the past
Three growing seasons.
Okay.
How did we do this past year with the buffer strips? I know we've been doing some things through the Upper Sioux River Watershed Project and mailing to people that would be involved in that. Has it picked up any?
No, we actually had 1 or 2 less applications last year than we did the year before.
That's
But-
concerning because we only had 1 or 2.
Well, to make these buffer strips, they'll still get them, so it's just a matter of them coming in and filing for them.
But it's a good program, and I think it's probably improved from when it was first initiated in the terms of the producers getting payment. The payments have, because you can get some partial payment through the Upper Sioux River project and then through the county. So I encourage the producers out there to take a look at that. And besides that, it'll clean the water up.
That's right.
That's what it's all about. All right, any questions for Shauna? Any questions? All right, thank you, Shauna.
All right, thank you,
Shauna.
All right, the auditor, what you got for us today, Cindy?
Our property tax valuations have been sent to the Department of Revenue for their review. We've gotten all those numbers in, so we know what our total assessed value is for working with property tax requests. We also have most of the taxing entities in the county have submitted their property tax request for Pay 2020. I am waiting on a few more of the entities. They have until October 1st to send in a request for 2020 tax payouts. So they do have to have that filed with me by October 1st. And we will be attending conference next week. So therefore, there will be no meeting next Tuesday.
All right, any questions for Cindy? Any questions? See, then let's go on to extension. Good morning, Jody. How are you this morning?
Well, you got the secret cold, of course.
You're back from the fair.
Yeah.
Brought the cold with you, right?
Get your
Yeah.
fair cold?
Yep, everyone in my house but one, she's sticking with it and not getting it, so. So we just completed the state fair last week. I do serve as co-chair of the Special Foods Contest and Fashion Review Contest. So that takes up a lot of my time from Wednesday to set up to till Sunday, and so I did get to work the breeding beef show a little bit on Monday too. So big thank you to all our volunteers throughout all the contests. Even our judges are volunteers for Special Foods and Fashion Review. They don't get anything or even get we still have to pay to get into the state fair too. So even our county booth, it was great. I was the last county to get judged. I mean, all of our exhibits to get judged. And that night we had all of our people there, and then about 10 of my co-workers, 4-H advisors from other counties, came over and helped us get the whole booth set up because we were the last ones in the building to get things done. So
I might add, when I was in there, there was some young children in there, and they were looking, and they asked the question, like, who has the largest booth here? And then one of the Minnehaha people said, well, we do, but Cottington is, like, right there with us, and they're a lot smaller county than us. So I thought that was really a nice recognition that they had let these young individuals, know these smaller counties can be just as...
A question, where do you come up with all the tables and props and backdrops?
they had, they bring the tables. We had the heaviest tables, of course. They take 2 people to lift up. They're heavy. But I did, I sewed the backdrop, the little pennants before I went. I sewed those, and so we can use them from year to year. And so just kind of comes together, I guess.
You got stands and ladders, and everybody makes it look so nice from such simple.
From 3 vehicles of exhibits. Took us 3 vehicles to get them all down there. So we only had 2 to come back. So I did ask some of the families to pick up some of their things at State Fair to help us out with some of those things. While at State Fair, I did get to meet our new 4-H program leader, Dr. Tim Tanner, who just joined us in August.
Say that name one more time.
Dr. Tim Tanner.
Spell that last name.
Tanner.
Tanner.
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Did want to mention that our judging teams did really well at State Fair. I'd had one beginner got second in the state in horticulture, Isabel Bostrom. And then our beginner horticulture team got 3rd place in the state. We had 2 teams in beginners, and one of them got 3rd place. Allison Fisher got 3rd place as a senior in individual horticulture. And then our beginner CDM team got 2nd in the state, and our senior team got 5th in the state. My kids said the horticulture was very, very hard. So kudos to Allison for getting 3rd in the state. So right now the 4-H members are working on their 4-H journals and award applications, and those are all due October 8th. Clubs are just finishing up their years, and our recognition event's going to be October 27th. And at the same time, we're working on some reports that we have to do for the state, and then our National 4-H Week begins October 6th to the 12th, so we start over with a whole new year again. So,
How did you end up this year as far as numbers of participants in the county?
I believe we have way more beginners and seniors than I do juniors right now, just comparing to all of our contests and throughout the achievement days, just when we're doing our shows with showmanship. We have a lot of beginners and a lot of seniors, but not a lot of juniors in the middle. But it's great to have a lot of seniors. So, and now I'm getting some of the Clover Buds coming back from some alumni that I had in 4-H. So
Oh, funny.
it's kind of fun.
I got pictures of your booth out the fair. So
Yeah.
that
It's
was-
so much fun watching those juniors, the ones out of Clover Buds, and they go to this and they get a purple ribbon, and they go,
They finally don't get a rainbow ribbon.
they
so.
pretty well hyperventilate, and it just encourages them a lot.
Yeah, that's the joy of working with those little kids. They just tell it the way it is.
And they learn a lot of life skills along the way.
That's right,
so.
yeah. Any questions for Jody? Anything, any comments?
Jody, it's a lot of work, and we appreciate everything you do, working. I mean, it's a ton of work, so thank you very much.
Thanks.
The list ain't long enough that can say thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, it's a real task to put all this together, and we appreciate all of your efforts.
Well, it's
Very,
fun to
very
get to the state fair and see kids that you've seen throughout their years. And like one of them in Special Foods, I've seen her since she was in Special Foods as an 8-year-old, and she's not even from my county, but I recognize her name every time and I see her, and so you get to know these kids from
Yeah.
across the state also, not just your own county. So.
watching them mature and develop. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, those are skills that they're going to have for the rest of their lives. They're going to take away and never forget you. So, thank you.
And
Thanks, Jody.
Chuck Leitner does a good job of promoting the 4-H and all of the radio. Now, I imagine KXLG will probably jump right on the wagon here now. Pretty soon.
KXLG does a great job as well.
I've planted the seed. All right, let's go on to number 9. KXLG does a great job in supporting all the efforts of all the young people in our community, and thank you for doing that, gentlemen. Number 9, action to approve the auditor's account with the treasurer, and note the register of deeds fees, and those are in your packet. If you want to follow along, Ms. Cindy.
This is the accounting of cash and cash items on hand as of the last business day in August. Shows you where our cash is distributed amongst the general ledger. Shows you where our money is invested. And then the register of deeds fees collected in the month of August were $143,330.95.
Move to approve.
Motion by, who had it?
Brenda, I'll second.
Hatton, and seconded by Van Duzen. Any discussion? I have a discussion. Have I missed this before? Have you broken it down into silver and pennies and ones?
Well, it's always done that way. I might not have included that in the report, but yes, we have to count every dime, nickel, penny the last day of each month.
Yeah, you got $144.99 worth of pennies in there, huh?
Yeah, you gotta have money to make change when
That's,
people come in and pay with cash.
Use
so,
that
yeah.
as an anchor. All right. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever
Yes, we
noticed
have
that
an
before.
old cash box that's about this big that you wanna use 2 hands when you pick up.
It's full of pennies.
Pennies, quarters, dimes, nickels, yes.
Yeah. All right, any other discussion? Any other comments? Any other things? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Let's go on to number 10. Action to approve an advertisement for the Emergency Management Director position. And as we all know, Mr. Sutton is going to retire. He'll be with us until December 30?
January, end of
31st.
January.
End of January. But I know when he announced his retirement, we held off a little bit, but now it's time that we do advertise for his position.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Van
Second that.
Duzen, a second by
I second it.
Hatton. Any discussion? Okay, well, Terry just stepped out. Is he going to work with putting
Yes.
together the job
Yep,
description? And
he'll work with Jim to get the job description and interviews set up, and yeah.
And I would assume that will appear within the next week or so.
It'll be listed in the public opinion and with the job service.
Will we go outside of this local community for,
We won't seek outside the community, but our personnel policy does say we will accept applications
Sure.
from outside the county.
all right, any more comments, any more discussion? Any other discussion? Anything else? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries.
Mr. Chair.
All right, yes,
Can we just delay item number 11 for a few minutes? I've asked that Sheriff Howell come up for discussion
sure,
on that item.
thank you. Yep, all right, we'll make a change in the agenda then, and we will come back to number 11 when our sheriff gets here. Let's go on to number 12. And this we kicked around and discussed and worked it over pretty hard last week, and we decided that we would just delay the approval to a later date, and we just put it on the agenda. Does anybody want to act on this? Action to approve a project with Renown, and that's the damping,
Do we need to
getting the
make
dampness out of the basement.
do we need to make a motion to postpone till a certain date, or can we just?
We need to, we could
I'd
just
make-
postpone it
I'd make a
until like
motion to postpone, I think you gotta have a date, we'll say,
we wanted to wait till after the budget
yeah,
was,
so sometime in October, maybe let's see,
Pick a date.
The
Cindy?
22nd of October.
22nd of October.
We won't meet the last one because there's 5, so that would be the 22nd of October.
Okay, the motion is to postpone this until the 22nd of October.
Second that motion.
We have a motion by Hatton, a second by Van Dusen. Is there any discussion? And the reason for that is that we wanted to see where we were as far as the budget goes towards the end of the year, to see if we wish to do that we could include it in the current budget that we're operating under rather than ahead.
I think we were looking at a cost of about $14,800 for that project.
In that neighborhood, that's right, yeah. And it is not in this year's budget.
Right.
Yeah, so we've got to wait and see how we're doing.
Well, first we need to see if we approve it in the budget or
Yeah.
portion of it, so.
Oh, yeah, yep. All right.
Do you
We have
need
a
to vote?
motion, a second. I need a vote on it. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Can you see if the sheriff is on his way up here? For me?
All right, let's go on to number 13, and that is action to approve a resolution to amend the CCJAC, which is the Cottington County Justice Advisory Committee.
Thank you.
I would
Charter?
ask to postpone that as well. Since Lee is not here, we don't have the wordage in as far as what the changes were going to be, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
I emailed it out to you.
Yeah, I got it.
well, even I guess, I would ask to postpone.
Until Lee is back.
Yeah, and some more discussions, so,
Next week, all right?
no, we won't be here next week.
I
The
guess-
24th, we have,
That'd be a good time to do it.
it's not something that's rushing. How about October 1st? Postpone till October 1st, first Tuesday.
All right, you heard the motion to postpone this discussion and action until October 1st meeting. Is there a second to that motion? Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
We have a second by Van
Yeah.
Dusen. The motion was by Hatton. Any discussion? Artie, you were sitting there, you looking, you going to say something?
I'm just listening very intently.
Oh, okay, very good. All right. Any discussion?
I think it's just a good idea to have Lee here, just to cover it one more time, and then we can make a decision on what we want to do there.
Well, Lee could specifically point out the changes that he wants made. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, motion carries. All right, Sheriff Brad is here. We postponed number 11 until you were here, so Brad, number 11 is action to approve a security door project for the welfare office. Come on up, will you? Sure. Good morning, Brad.
How's it going?
Mr. Chair, in all fairness to Sheriff Howell, he did not know he was going to be asked to comment on this today, so Commissioner Hanton and I spoke on this just briefly before the meeting today. This is a request for a installation of a security door over at the welfare office, which is, of course, in the City Auditorium building. That is on the agenda for approval today, and I guess we just kind of wanted to visit with the sheriff a little bit on his thoughts about security issues over there and different options that we have available at the county level.
Well, like you say, where do you want to start? Just kind of taking a quick peek at this proposal. I got this towards the end of last week. I just briefly looked through it. I have not made it over to that office to walk through it last week, but I was through there when they first were remodeling it. We did through and we kind of did a security assessment at that time. There are cameras over there, and we do have panic alarms that ring right into our office as well, so same type of setup that we do have here in the courthouse.
Okay.
Actually, the security that's in that office is the same as the security that was in the office when it was here.
Yes.
Isn't that right?
That is correct, yes.
Is it better, or is it worse, or is it the same?
I guess you call it this, similar.
Equal.
The way the building is set up, there is some of this you don't want to discuss.
Yeah, I was going to
It's
say,
open
it's
with
a
everybody.
sensitive sort of
Yeah, some of it's
information that-
sensitive, but it is set up just a little bit better, I would say, than what we'd had here previously.
Okay, questions for Brad?
I don't really want to go into it too deep in a public forum, I guess, as far as the security is concerned over there, but I understand that there has been some issues with that system. Is that right?
Yes, there was an issue with that system, and it was recently just fixed this past week.
Okay.
There was an issue with one of the dialers just set up or whatever.
Okay.
But, yep, that's been fixed.
I would say that if some of those issues have been corrected, that we should, I'm not saying to totally throw this out, but maybe wait and let's see, why replace a whole door for, the cost. Wait and see if this works, because this is like almost a $5,000 deal.
6,000.
Yeah, so let's just,
I think it's both of those
It's-
together.
Yeah,
the one was 4,000, so
Yeah,
5,000.
one was,
5,000 there, and then,
Another
2,245.
yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
okay, so it's about
7,000.
over 7,000.
Yeah.
So I guess I am not inclined to act on this right now. I think we need to give the system that we have a chance to see if it's going to, be proven. Also, maybe we can take a look at some of our camera systems and see if we can make that more efficient or whatever the issues may be, that Brad will have a chance to work.
Yeah, like I
with
say,
her.
without actually going through and then discussing how the system's gonna work with Sarah, I haven't had a chance to do that myself.
Bottom line, that office is secure.
Yes.
Yes,
I mean, it's not like there is not security there. There
Yep.
is security.
there's security there, there's cameras, there's the panic alarm.
But I
all
think that the argument or the question is when you say it is secure, it's really not secure. I mean, there is no door there that's keeping people out, and that is a concern of our welfare director. And, she's had a problem with one particular individual that we're concerned about coming over to the office and causing problems and issues. This has been brought to our attention. I think we need to take action on it. It's in her budget. And if it's going to keep our people safe, I think we need to address that. I would like the sheriff to visit with her relatively soon, so that if this is something that we want to approve next week, we can do that. But I think we need to, knowing that there's a potential problem there, it's been brought to our attention, I think we're opening ourselves up for additional liability if we don't take action on something. So I would recommend that you can put security cameras in there, but what's the response time going to be? Somebody's got to be monitoring those, so.
And that's why I said I'm not inclined to do it at this time. We need Brad, give him an opportunity to visit with her and see, maybe it's not this that needs to be done, maybe there's something else. I'm not saying nothing at all, but I think we need to give Brad an
And
opportunity to.
and the timely notice that this was brought to my attention, like I say, I have not had a chance to visit
Okay.
with her and go forward with anything.
Yeah,
may be
and that's why
I
I
think
over-
there's some other underlying issues there as well.
Yeah.
That we should probably
This
discuss
may
sometime
be
as well.
overkill, so let's
Okay.
just let
What we're
Brad
looking at
take
is
look
is a secure entryway similar to what the state's attorney's office has in place down there. So just get with Sarah, talk about this in the
Yep.
next week, and then let's bring it back next week, and let's see if we can decide
So
what we're
you're,
going to do.
That would be the 24th.
That would be my
We
motion.
aren't
Or
here, so it'd be the
following week.
24th,
So you're making a motion,
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
and we'll bring it back on the 24th.
Can we bring it back, postpone this item until the
Postpone it till the
24th?
24th.
And by then, Brad, you should be able to hopefully
Yep.
talk with
Is there
her.
a
I'll
second to that
second
motion?
that
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Van Dusen, a second by Waterman. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Brad, you will.
Yep, I'll follow up with Sarah.
All right, thank you very much.
We'll go from there.
All right,
Thanks,
all in
Brad.
favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, we got that baby taken care of. It's approved. Item number 14 is discussion possible action to contract with Clark Engineering to survey borrow pits. Rick is still here. Maybe you better explain does everybody know what a borrow pit is? That's
No.
where everybody parks their old worn out wheelbarrows,
I
right?
guess so. Then I've got one.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Rick.
What I'd like to do is have Clark Engineering, we have some spots that are gonna have to be built up on our roads. And say Farmer X has a knob or something out in his field, if we have them survey it, so we know how much material we'd taken out of there to put on the road to build the road
What's
up.
a knob?
Hill, excuse me,
A hill of what?
dirt.
Dirt? Okay. Not gravel, dirt, all right.
Yep.
Okay,
Material.
My mind knows what's going on in there,
I
but
know.
it just doesn't come out my
that's okay,
mouth.
just getting clarification.
So you moved
Well, you know what
dirt
you're
from
talking
one-
about.
Yep.
From you moved dirt from one area to another area, and
Yep.
dirt that you moved becomes a borrow
But
pit.
it's dirt, not gravel.
I'll
That's
make a
the-
motion that we
point.
approve that contract to.
Well, it could be anything under the hill. You don't know until you get in there, you know.
Material then.
Just
Could be
material.
gravel.
Material, all right.
Yep.
All right, we have a motion. Hatton, did you make the motion?
Yep, I did.
I'll second.
What was your motion?
To allow Clark Engineering to survey these borrow pits. I have a
And-
contract with them.
And
such-
we may not use them. It's
Yep.
just in case we need them, you
Yeah.
know. Because we've got some spots that are nip and tuck right now where the water level is, so it's gonna be tough.
Van Duzen, you second the
Second.
motion?
Correct.
All right, any discussion, any more discussion? How many are there, did you say? How many different areas?
There's like 6.
All
Right now.
depends on what the weather does going
Yeah.
forward.
And like the rain we had yesterday, I haven't been out there to see if it changed the water level or not yet, so.
Yeah,
Bet it did.
it's kind of
Or
out
it's
of our
going to.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And more tonight.
Because a lot of these spots, there's nowhere for the water to go. They're just a pool. Just in between the hills, and it just pools there, and it can't run out. And
Gotta
some of these
build it
spots
up.
have been built up before, so.
That's why they call this the prairie pothole country, right?
Exactly.
All right, you've had, heard the motion, the second motion, and any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Go
All right,
push
Rick?
your borrows up the knobs.
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, borrowing off, yeah.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Item number 15, action to approve claims for payment. What do we have today besides the normal?
Just a sec, I was opening up a program here so I could give you some information on some balances. Okay.
Public defender.
No, court appointed. Yeah, just give me a second here, get my keywords straightened out.
See, you had that highlighted.
Yeah. There is a small amount left. I anticipate that being gone when we pay bills in September, but just want to get the exact amount.
Those letters were mailed out or whatever to the different attorneys or whatever to use our public defender first and foremost, or to the judges?
No, it was to the judge. No, that
Judges.
has not been done yet.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So this is the list of claims to be paid today. There's just a few highlights. On page 3 is the court-appointed attorney budget. You can see we are spending $12,000 this month, which will leave us with $5,000 for the rest of the year.
It's not
We're
gonna
using
cut her, is it?
12,000 a month, that's not.
It's probably not going to last. We will have to supplement that with commissioner's contingency. We'll see what the bills look like in October. Also on that page, we made our final payment to the architect group for the courthouse remodel project. That is paid off. On page 4, Watertown Area Transit requested their $5,000 of allocated funding. They are in anticipation of new bus arriving soon, and that's what that money was for.
Yes.
Let's see. I don't know if I highlighted anything else. Apparently I didn't. Total claims were just over $980,000. Of that amount, just over $398,000 were county claims, and just over $582,000 was state pass-through.
Move
Make
to
a mo-
approve.
Motion by Van Duzen,
I'll second that.
second by Hatton. All, any discussion? Any discussion on any of the claims? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
If
Opposed,
you
same sign.
have any questions on claims, we do have, Myron, do you have the, yeah, I mean,
Yep.
we have, you can look through there
I
at
got-
anything you want to see. If you question something, on the list.
You bet. We got them right here for you. All right, budget supplements.
None today.
All right, let's go to 17, approve of personnel changes, and we have several of those today.
The
There's
first
your packet.
one is Jeff Hirschman. He is the deputy maintenance supervisor, and per our policy, when somebody fills in for a department head who is gone, after that department head has been out of work for a consecutive 10 days, the individual who's taking over for them is eligible for an increase in pay while they are covering for that individual. So Jeff will go to step 10, $23.18 per hour until the return of our facilities manager. Shauna Carter is a correctional officer. She will go to step 13, $23.61. That's an anniversary step increase. Also an anniversary step increase for Kyle Lewis. He is also a correctional officer. He'll go to $19.05 per hour, step 3. Lindsay Strickerts is also a correctional officer, do a step increase. She'll go to step 13, $23.61 per hour.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Waterman. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you. Let's go on to travel requests. We have a couple, 2, 3 of those.
First one I've got is, first two are for the Weed and Pest Department, for the supervisor and a county employee to attend the mosquito conference in Aberdeen. That is a 2-day trip. And then for our clerical in the community health office to attend a WIC focus group in Pier, and that is a 1-day
Move
event.
to approve.
Motion by Hanton, second by Waterman. Discussion, I'll discuss the Justin Helligen's request. He's the only one that is currently has a actual pesticide application license, and so I don't know if Rick called me or Steve or Milo or somebody and asked if I thought it'd be a good idea if we had a backup, and I said, yeah, we need one. And so that's why I said we need to send Justin so he can get his education in controlling mosquitoes. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. All right, let's go on then to public notices. There's, of course, the state convention coming in, South Dakota Association of County Commissioners Annual Conference, September 16th and 17th in Pier. And then the Cotton County Justice Advisory Committee, they're going to meet October 10th at 6:10 p.m. at LATI. Any other public notices that anyone is aware of? Number 20 is old business. Do we have any old business to discuss? Any mature business? Any old business? Yeah, I do. I guess it could be in the open or the old business, but it was requested that we do make a concerted effort. There was and the thumbs up and the thumbs down on the paper, they kind of hit us kind of hard about not negotiating and not working with the tribe as far as the casino goes out there. I have had conversation with the city, and they are putting a letter together for us to review and sign that will be sent to the tribe. I did contact Becky in the state's attorney office, and she was reviewing that situation. But let it be known that we really have tried to communicate, and it's just that it's one of those things, and I don't know how you say it, Cindy, just out of the clear blue, they'll send us a check with no
Explanation.
Poor business practice.
Yeah, no explanation. We don't know what
Right.
it's for. Maybe it's just for being nice guys, you know? And then they're saying we're not communicating with them. Well, we don't know what they're communicating, and that's the problem. So we're working very, very diligently on that, And we'll be following up, and I'll keep you in the loop and as to what's happening there. Any new business? Any new business to come before the,
In your packets, I did put a notice from the City of Watertown for a public hearing regarding the downtown overlay district. They are saying that the courthouse is a part of the downtown district. I think it's important that one of you attend this meeting to see how this is going to affect the county. There are two different meeting dates, it looks like.
September 16th and October 7th.
Well, actually, the public hearing is on Thursday, September 5th.
Those were the readings at the city council.
Okay, all right, yep, I did not, okay, so we're already past that, yes. Yeah, so it's the first reading of the ordinance. I don't know if this is gonna affect the county. I guess we received a notice, and I sent it out to you. Let's see, there was one.
There
other
will be the public hearing, so I guess if you go
October
to the first
7th.
reading, yeah, the
Yeah,
public hearing
That's
will
the
be
next
October
meeting,
7th.
5:30 PM.
They're having just the first reading on the 16th with no public comment.
Okay,
Like we do, and then
right.
the public hearing will be the 7th.
Okay, all right.
well, probably it'd be a good idea to attend the September 16th meeting.
They're just having the
That's the
reading.
first reading.
So there will be no public comment. I don't know how much they will explain.
Second reading of ordinance, public hearing.
Also received notice from the first district that our next quarterly meeting of the Commissioners Association is in November in Beetle County. And they are looking at either the 13th or the 20th. If you could get back to me on whether or not either one of those dates works better for you, I can let Susie know at First District.
Okay, what, October?
November 13th or 20th are the two dates that they're looking at, and they were looking for input yesterday on.
They're both on a Wednesday.
That's an all-day meeting?
Nope,
No.
it starts at noon. Starts with noon lunch, and we're usually out of there by 2:30 or 2 o'clock.
I'm open both days.
I'd
so-
say the 13th, because that next week is the state tournament for volleyball, so let's go for the 13th.
And where is it again?
They would be in
Huron.
Huron.
Beetle County is the host.
Cindy, I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
And I put 13th in my book.
Well, yeah, it's to be determined
So
yet.
let's-
They're just
Yeah.
looking for,
They're just gonna go with.
they're looking for
whoever.
input, yeah.
Yeah, that would work for me too.
This will be the
Fine.
first time that Beetle County has hosted also.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we've never been there before.
They're
They
kind
just
of
joined.
new member to our district, yeah.
All right, good. All right, let's go to item number 22, open. Public comments. Anyone in the audience wish to make any comments at this time? Any public comments? We got a pretty quiet group out there this morning. Are they just afraid of us or what? I don't know. I know Mel isn't afraid of us, so. Any public comments? How about commissioners' comments? Anything from anyone here? I did attend the South Dakota Retirement Board meeting this past week on Wednesday and Thursday, and we did interview, and we did select a new executive director, Rob Wiley. As you've heard on the news, he did retire after several years of dedicated service, and we gave the job to a very nice young man, Travis Allman, and Travis has been working with the Retirement Association for many, many years as a public relations specialist and communications specialist. But he had some really stiff and good competition. The South Dakota Retirement Association's attorney was the other candidate. We interviewed two candidates. That's what it was narrowed down to, and that candidate did an excellent job as well. It was a tough one. We had the entire board interviewed them, and it was a good, strong hour interview on each one of them. So, I felt sorry for him because I can remember interviewing with a board of directors or a school board or something, and you always wonder what kind of questions are going to come from some of these people, and the same way there, so. But they did a very, very good job, and the retirement fund is in good hands, and by the way, the retirement fund is still 100% funded, and it's doing very well. It always concerns me with these ups and downs in that market, you know, and, but they refer to that as noise, you know.
Saw that article.
Yeah, that's noise, and because sometimes, you know, we forget that when the market is really low, that's sometimes good, because that's a good time to buy, you know, and if you can sit on it and then sell high, well, that's all right, as long as you do that. All right, I do not have a request for an executive
Actually,
session.
I have a request, I would like to make a request on personnel. Number
All
one.
right, at the last moment here then, we do have a request from Commissioner Hatton for a request on personnel, and that would be item number 1.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session.
We have a motion to go into executive session. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Second by Van Duzen. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Business afterwards?
No.
We are in executive session. Thank you, gentlemen, for showing up, and ladies.